Hey guys, how you doing? Runs a Nut here. Well, the time has come. That Merlin SM8 case is about to be wet. Many of you saw the Merlin SM8 build that I did called Thunderstorm. It was an air-cooled build, and you probably scratch your head saying, why would you do an air-cooled build in a case like that? Well, because you can. And I wanted to show the flexibility of that case. And so we did an air-cooled build in it, and you saw how well it performed and how easy it is to build in it. Well, now even more fun, and the real big fun begins when you get to put in a water-cooled kit inside of that case. So this is the kit of parts. There's some miscellaneous pieces and extras that still will be coming, but this is the meat of it. And so what I wanted to do is take you through an overview of what's going to go inside this baby. And there are certain things that I have not used before, and I will do some unboxings and opening separate videos for those. Some you'll just see them as they get assembled as I do this particular build. So I don't have a name for it yet, so I'll be open to that. If you want to post a comment underneath what you think the name should be, and on my Facebook page, that would be great too. That's Runs a Nut on Facebook. But before we get started, a big thanks to Case Labs and Performance PCs for sponsoring this build. Case Labs, of course, sponsoring the Merlin SM8 case, and Performance PCs sponsoring a ton of goodies that are going into this build. The Monsoon Fittings I have not used before, and a bunch of Monsoon fitting accessories, the fan covers, and all of those awesome BitFenix Alchemy cables along the front, and they even custom sleeved some LEDs for me to put into some of the blocks here in this case. And then there's the Mayhems pastel gigabyte that I'm going to be using in this build. So again, thanks to Case Labs and Performance PCs for sponsoring it. And you know, a lot of you guys ask me, where do I get all the other stuff? Well, pretty much I buy it all from Performance PCs. Some of the kit parts I buy locally, and processors I usually get from Micro Center, because I tend to see that they have the best prices on processors. But other stuff, you know, disk drives, I look for the best pricing, and I will you know, do my best to get a good deal on those. But all of the fans and all of the water cooling kit parts, all of that comes from Performance PC. So if you guys are looking, that should be your first place you go to check it out. They probably have it, and if not, ask me and I'll tell you where I got it from. So let's get up close and personal now. I'll take you through each of the pieces that are going into this build, and let's have a look. First up, we have the BitFenix Alchemy cables. These are all extension cables that I got from Performance PCs. They have, if they have it in your cables in your case, they have an extension cable for it. Here is the audio extension cable. Here's an internal USB extension cable, a couple or a few 2-pin chassis I/O extension cables, 6-pin PCIe power extension cable, the ATX main power cable, some more PCI 8-pin EPS 12-volt extension cables, 3-pin fan extension cables, SATA cables, 3-pin 3 to 3-pin fan adapter cables, 8-pin PCIe power extension cables, and then I even needed some LED cables to put in, LEDs to put in the case, and Performance PCs will actually build them and sleeve them for you. So I've got a bunch of those. Some of you might ask why I don't just sleeve my own. Well, to be honest with you, I'm lazy, and I think these cables look great. So for now, I would tend to use these. They will probably add to some of my cable management in this case, but if you've seen the Thunderstorm build, you'll see that there's plenty of space in this case to address that. So for now, this is what I'm using, and then maybe future builds I've got to take the foray into sleeving my own. But for the price and for the quality, I think the BitFenix Alchemy cables are great, and Performance PCs does a great job also of making custom cables for you. We also have some black fan grills, which actually some of these I'm going to try and paint orange as well to add some of the modding in the case. Coming around here, you've seen the Aquaro, the fan controller in the system is the Aquaro 5. The one I have is the LT, and that thing worked great I really like the features that it offers, and I just use it just for controlling some fans. So this will be done again, but also it will also be used to control and monitor the flows, coolant flow in the system, and also the pumps that I'm going to be using. So here we have a high flow sensor that's going to be connected to the Aquaro, and then I got a couple of power adjusts. They control both fans and D5 pumps. And also, since this is a water cooling build, the controller card also has a water block that you can get to keep certain power chips there cooled. So I'm gonna use it for that. So you'll see quite a bit of assembly and work on the Aquaro 5. So you'll see a separate video for hooking all that up and setting it up. Onto fans, you see there I have a few of the Enermax cluster fans. Now these fans are, I think they're relatively new, but they come apart completely, so they can be painted. I saw a review, and somebody took it apart, and I went ahead and got some. I wanted to test them to see how well they performed, number one, and how loud they were. So I'm going to compare them to the NoiseBlocker PL2s that I bought. I have those originally as what I bought for this build. I may change them out for the clusters, I don't know. So be on the lookout for a video that I do that uses the testing setup that I've used before for all my other fans, and I'll put the links here above so you can take a look at this video once I have it done for the Enermax and the PL2 test, and also the test roundup of all the other fans that I've done. So we'll see. Like I said, I may wind up putting clusters in here, but again, it has to be a good performer and it has to be quiet. So those are the fans, and we'll do in those videos you'll see a breakdown of the fans and what's in them and everything. So you'll see a separate review on those. Next, for water cooling, the fittings I'm going to use are Monsoon. Monsoon fittings I've not used before, and I'm going to do something different. And they came in orange and in black, so that's what I've got here. That's going to be the base color theme. So those are a couple of the kits of the main fittings. And then down here there's some accessories, some options you can have. Some of those are 45-degree angle fittings and maybe 90-degree angle fittings. They also have a bunch of, there's some thermal sensors that come in the Monsoon setup. And also there are LEDs that you can put inside of some of the Monsoon fittings. So I've got just about every option you can for Monsoon fittings. I'm going to use them in this build. So there'll be a separate video as well for that to do an open box and show you the Monsoon fittings and the options that we have for them. All right, coming over here, the memory going into this build is going to be the Dominator Platinum. This is the 2133 megahertz version. I was hoping to use that in the air-cooled build, but the heatsink interfered with the cooling tower that I use, so I did not use the Dominator RAM, but it is going into this build. You bet your bottom dollar for that one. And then, of course, since this is a Gigabyte with the Gigabyte Orange, I had to use the Gigabyte Pastel orange concentrate. Performance PCs provided that. It was great. The motherboard in this build is the Gigabyte Z77X UP7. I can't wait to break that guy out and overclock this processor and use the features, so I'll have an unboxing and a video for that, separate one coming up. For dressing up the pumps that'll be used in this, I have a dual D5 mod top extreme kit with a 250 mil res, and then I have the D5 MCP 655 mod kit tops, so all in matte black. And the pump that we're going to be using, of course, is a MCP 655, or it's a D5 laying a pump with the TAC lead on it. I'm going to connect that up obviously to the Aquaro, also the power too, so that the Aquaro will control it. And we've got two of them right there, and the version I bought is without all of the ugly kit that normally comes with it when you buy them. So I just bought the the pump itself with the O-ring, and I think it comes with like a front cover. With regards to the water cooling items that are going to be cooled, we have a pair of EVGA GeForce GTS 680s. These are the superclock version. So we've got 2 of those that we're going to water cool, and we're going to be using XSPC Razor, the new Razor tops, and they look great. I've got 2 of those right there, 1 for each graphics card. And I also bought the SLI bridge that they have. I do have some Crystal Link, so I might put that between them, but right now I went with all XSPC basically for the water blocks. The water block for the CPU is the Raystorm. This block has done fantastic and was rated very highly in Ren's 2012 CPU block roundup. Between that and the AlphaCool Nexus XP3, these guys are at the top of the chart. So I stuck with XSPC for the CPU block. With regards to radiators, I have a RX 360 and an RX 480. So those are the 2 rads that are going to go inside of this case, and that's a lot of rad, but this case can handle it. The CPU is an i7-3770K. Now I do have another one that already hit 5 gigahertz, so I may wind up taking it out of the other system that I have it in, so I can make sure I can get to 5 and see with all this water cooling if I can get it running stable. If not, we'll see how well this chip does. We've got, actually I have 2 of these Intel solid state drives, 120 gigabyte. The other one's in a system temporarily, so I'm thinking I'm going to use 2 of them and put them in a RAID 0 on this motherboard. I also have a Velociraptor Western Digital hard drive. This is a 600 gigabyte, 10,000 RPM drive. So I picked up a couple of those because I just wanted to see how well that performance is. 10,000 RPMs, and compare it. I'll do some benchmarks when the system's built to compare it against the SSDs in RAID 0 and alone, so I'll give you an idea of how well that hard drive performs. And the other thing too is I also bought a Mushkin M-SATA 60 gigabyte SSD card because this motherboard supports M-SATA. Now if I'm using SSDs, I believe that's going to be the way to go, but I wanted to see how well that works, so I think I might use the M-SATA in combination with that hard disk drive. Maybe I might even do it on the test bench just to check it out. But I'm going to work that way into this build somehow, even if it's only temporarily, to see how well it performs. I'm really curious. I haven't seen, a lot of people have been using them in laptops. Since this motherboard supports it, it's probably not needed, like I said, if you're going to be using SSDs, but let's find out. Let's see how it works. And then finally, over in the corner there you see some paint. I've got some orange paint, not sure which one I'm going to use. One of them's fluorescent and the other one is just a regular orange, and I'm going to be modding this system in some ways, and you'll see. And then also back there, that is from a company called Metro Restyling, and that is some carbon fiber. So we're going to go out a little bit and try something new in this build. So there it is. There is the water-cooled kit that's going into the Merlin SM8. So like I said, there's a bunch of things that are new that I haven't used before, so be on the lookout for videos on those. And you will see the build progress. I will take you through the normal level of detail and describe it as I go through, and any decisions that need to be made, I'll try to include you in on those and explain how and why. So hopefully it helps you, just like I've done in my past videos. I hope you guys do enjoy the way I bring it to you. And so if you do like this, please like and favorite, and also please subscribe if you're so inclined. I don't have a name for this build, so orange and black obviously with the white. So I'm looking forward to your comments and feedback, and it might be easier, guys, if you want to post some comments on my Facebook page. Ron's a Nut. It's a little bit easier to get a dialogue going there. It's not always so easy to be able to do it in the comments underneath, but I will do my best as always to answer any questions you have and respond to any feedback, any constructive criticism that you have, or any suggestions as well. So appreciate it, guys. Again, thanks. That's it from Ron's a Nut. Thanks for watching.